All those families that have connection here, I just want to say, sing it up, sing it proud. This here country, it always was, and it always will be Aboriginal land. But the truth is, it's kind of home, for most of us here today. And so I really want to encourage all those people there to get to know the culture here on the coast, all the different families that represent all this particular place here, this place, and all those stories and all those places here on country. It's a beautiful country. We live on the Sunshine Coast. It's not the Gold Coast, it is the Sunshine Coast, finally. And it's a beautiful, beautiful place. We want to say thank you so much for coming here to Saltwater Eco Tours. And we're going to let the formalities go. We'll take off now and we'll hand it over to the lads here. But you are most welcome here. This is a safe place.
Well, it's a wonderful day to be launching a new Indigenous visitor experience for our region, the Saltwater Eco Tours. The launch of Saltwater Eco Tours is significant for a number of reasons. Firstly, it will increase the profile of and access to our cultural history of the traditional custodians of the Sunshine Coast local government area. It will diversify and strengthen our tourism offering in the region and provide social and economic opportunities for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities in our region. Through Saltwater Eco Tours, local Indigenous residents will have access to new opportunities for employment, which will in turn create a flow-on effect for other Indigenous businesses. Secondly, Saltwater Eco Tours is an opportunity to include local Indigenous storytelling and traditions in our region's sightseeing offerings. Thirdly, the launch of Saltwater Eco Tours also coincides with 2020 being Queensland's Year of Indigenous Tourism, a commitment to our state to support Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Queenslanders to take charge of their own economic futures. And last but not least, with many disruptions of the global COVID-19 pandemic firmly in our minds, it is great to be at a stage where we're here together today to see a long-awaited eco-tourism product launched in our market.
So my name is Simon Thornalley, and I'm honoured to finally be able to launch Saltwater Eco Tours here on the Sunshine Coast. This business journey has been a long and challenging one, to say the least. Some of you who know me know the many obstacles that I've faced along the way, but I know that this vision I have will continue to evolve into a sustainable tourism product of what I hope to be many years to come. I'm a saltwater person with family ties to the Kerry people of Horn Island in the Torres Straits. My nana, Monica Gould, is a well-respected elder born on Horn Island who now resides in Brisbane with much of my Torres Strait Islander family. I hold a very strong connection to my saltwater roots for many significant reasons. My great-grandfather, William Walton, was a seafarer and owned a pearl lugging company based in the Straits, which was an essential element in the history of the islands over the past century. My father, a seafarer and a boat builder, spent most of his life at sea and sailing and exploring. He's also responsible for passing on my fascination and love for timber sailing vessels. And my mother, a very experienced sailor herself, has spent a large portion of her life sailing around the South Pacific and then raising our family on the water. I was born into a life on the sea, or malu as we say in the Straits. My childhood was spent growing up on board an ex-mission boat from Thursday Island. We sailed down the Queensland coastline and visited more than 23 islands before I was 6 years old. The Sunshine Coast soon became our home, and after graduating high school here, I knew I had to remain connected with the ocean. I've worked as a commercial diver for 12 years all over the world, before becoming a captain and sailing through the west coast of Canada, and in 2017 had completed 6 Southern Ocean crossings to the infamous Drake Passage to Antarctica and back. Without thinking too much about it, I never did stray too far from the sea, and it's this connection that has always been crucial for my own physical and mental health. It wasn't until a few years ago, while sailing through the Whitsundays with my partner Jenna, that I realised my passion and experience I have with the ocean is something of such great significance that needed to be shared with others, especially when we live in such a beautiful area here on the Sunshine Coast. Not only did I want to share my skills to create my own career path, I wanted to infuse my island culture and connect with the local Indigenous people who have such a deep history and connection to this beautiful land we call home. It took me a very long time to find the right vessel. After trips to Melbourne, Cairns and Tasmania with continual back and forth decision making, I always came back to the spray of the Coral Coast, which lucky for us was in our hometown. Although there was a lot of work ahead in getting her back into commercial operation, it was a labour of love. Spray of the Coral Coast really does add to the whole experience we have created. As you will soon see, she is now a beautifully restored 100-year-old gaff rig ketch, one of the oldest replicas of Joshua Slocum's original spray. Joshua Slocum was the first person to sail solo around the world, and that in itself draws many people to our boat. I've been fortunate enough to call upon many friends, my partner and my family to assist in the countless hours over the past 12 months of work in preparation for this moment. And I'm very excited to be able to provide a unique vessel where our passengers can experience something they may never have had the opportunity before. Our vision for Saltwater Eco Tours is to continue to grow and establish ourselves within the Sunshine Coast tourism industry. We want to support other local businesses and provide opportunities to collaborate and draw people to our region. Most importantly, we want to unite people through culture, art, music and celebration of this beautiful place we get to call home. I feel very fortunate to be able to provide a unique platform that showcases the rich culture from the Cubby Cubby people. Some of you will get a taste of this experience today through the incredible stories and food provided by Kerry, Neill and the Triballink crew. Lastly, I would just like to thank all of those for coming here today and everyone who's been involved in the development of Saltwater Eco Tours. There are many people behind the scenes who have helped bring this vision to life. A huge thank you to my parents, my partner Jenna, Kerry Neill, Julie Cullen, Amanda Goody, Kerry Ann Haggie, Liz Tuckett and all of you here today. I would like to finish off with a quote from an Indigenous artist I met during a trip to Canada last year, Shane Jackson, who told me, "We're all paddling together on the same canoe as Indigenous people, and if you're out of time and not connected for just one brief moment, you are paddling the entire canoe on your own." I believe this is truly relevant to us all as Indigenous people, but also to each of us as a community. We need to support and empower each other as one.